Finishing up my field work today. I know I said that in one of my previous videos, but I really am doing it this time. I decided to plant some ryegrass into this soybean stubble, and I spread it with the fertilized spreader mixed with a little potash, and now I'm going over it with this disc very lightly to try to give it a little soil contact and pack it down a little bit with this color packer. Anyway, I decided to use my Oliver 70, 1941 Oliver 70 that I've had for a few years. I bought this tractor in honor of my granddaughter Olivia Oliver, get it? So at any rate, I had to put some money in it over the years. It didn't have the side curtains. Bought those from a place up in Eaton, Ohio that manufactures these. And have had to do a few repairs on it. Not a whole lot. The biggest problem was the steering was messed up, but finally managed to get that fixed. It was all in the steering box, gearbox. So it runs well, lights work. It's a good looking tractor. I always admired the look of this tractor from it was in that Art Deco period where tractor companies are trying to use styling as a way to attract more customers to their product. Very simple tractor though, has no hydraulics. 6 forward speeds, 1 reverse, and no 3-point. So does have a mechanical lift, which I can show you. Has power takeoff, not live. But overall, it's been a good running tractor. Plowed with it this spring and plow day did fine. I'm pulling this little bitty 8-foot international disc and this Dunham color packer, and it'll just stir up the soil enough to get some good seed contact. So gonna get on the tractor now, take you down the road a little bit like I always do, let you watch a little bit of action here. Appreciate you watching my videos. God bless you. Here today, disking Cornstalks with a new tractor, Oliver 1750. I swapped out my John Deere 630 for this Even Steven, and so far so good. It's a nice running tractor, starts every time. This is its maiden voyage though, doing anything heavy duty, and for a couple of rounds here it seems to be doing fine. We'll see how it works out. It's a tractor that's similar to the 1800B that I have, except it has a little bit more horsepower, even though its numbered is lower. It has a unique shift on it. I'll try to show you that when I get on the tractor. It gives you 3 different ranges in the same gear, and it's kind of handy. So we'll see how that works out. I think it's mostly you're going to be going between direct drive and the undershift to go to a lower speed. But anyway, some differences between that tractor and this one is that the battery box is under the floorboard here. That's interesting. And still has that same troublesome Marvell shoveler carburetor on it. This one was given a rehab before I bought it. So let's see how it holds up. They don't have a very good reputation, so it might end up going away at some point in time. It's Got the base weight on it. I have a couple extra weights for it if I start plowing with it, which I'll probably do this spring. It's pulling this John Deere AW disc. It's not much of a workout for it here in this stalk ground, but I'm going to have to go over this stuff about 3 times. I just got this corn off this week, and I'm going to try to plant wheat in it, but these stalks are really thick, so I'm going to have to really mulch them up here, I think, with the disc. We'll see how that goes. Probably, I don't have a chopper, got a bush hog, but I've tried that in the past, and you go a few feet and it clogs up. It doesn't work well for me, so I'm going to try disc them here about 3 times. It's fun to drive the tractor anyway. I was a little leery of the hydraulics here. It's got the old style coupler on it. One thing it does have, which of course I'm not hooking up, is it has the hydroelectric. Still has the plug for that. So I have a Oliver hydroelectric cylinder that needs to be rebuilt. I might do that and see how that works. The idea is that you can set your cylinder from the seat by just pressing a button in terms of the amount of throw the cylinder goes. So anyway, and over on this, so here's the hydroelectric setup right here. Here's the just the regular Pioneer type hydraulics on this side. I noticed that the PTO is running, and a little bit here and there. It's kind of slow, so it's probably needs an adjustment. Anyway, I think they pretty much all do that. The seat's a little different than the one that I had. It's the standard seat for it. The guy had it before me. I fixed it all up. It's a very nice seat. Anyway, I'm going to get on the tractor now. I'll take you through a row or so. Hope you enjoy this video, and God bless you. Today, starting my corn harvest with a new tractor on my new idea picker sheller. It's an Oliver 1800B. Got it in the spring, trying to sort it out a little bit. Had carburetor problems with it, replaced the carburetor. Worked on the power steering, got that going, and fixed the seat, a few other tiddly bits, got the lights all working. Anyway, it's running good right now. We'll see how long that lasts. I used it a bit this spring, and it kind of conked out, and we had to do a little more work with the carburetor, but so far so good. Having a little problems this morning with the corn. I don't know if the stalks are still a little green, but the corn is dry. We had that dry snap back in September, and that really dried the corn down quick. And this corn is thick and the ears are small, so that's a bad combination. Anyway, I'm monkeying with the picker sheller, and we'll see how far we go. I've gotten so far with just one round under my belt. I've gotten one jam up, and starting the second round, I just had to clear another. The 1800B is a pretty modern tractor. It's got plenty of horsepower to run this operation, so I'm looking forward to using it. Corn looks pretty good. I can show you a little bit of what we've done so far. This picker sheller does a pretty good job, but right now I'm leaving a fair amount of it on the ground. I think it's due to the size of the ears and them getting we're not getting the stalks pulled through cleanly, so it's grinding off the ends of them a little bit. I tried to adjust that just now to see if that could make it work better. Anyway, for those of you who are familiar with a new idea picker sheller, you could take the base unit, you could make it into the shelling unit like we have here, or you could take that off. It was real easy. Just back up and do a few things, pull out, and then back into your husking bed and elevator for just picking ear corn. And then they had another unit that they used where you could grind the whole enchilada up and make feed out of it. So that's a pretty interesting idea, a new idea. This product was made not too far from me here in Coldwater, Ohio, and they made a lot of them. It's been a good machine for me. Okay, I'm going to get on the tractor now, take you down the road a little bit, and let you watch this. Sure appreciate you watching my videos. God bless you. I wanted to give a shout out to a friend of mine who passed away, Facebook friend and a YouTuber, Matt Davis, who loved Oliver Machinery. And Matt, if you're watching from heaven, I hope you enjoy this video. Bye now. Here today, the day before plow day, brought my tractors down to the field to kind of get them all lined up here and be ready for tomorrow. I got to go to church tomorrow morning, and then our plow day starts at 2 o'clock, so I needed to get them all down here today. A couple of things I need to work on just yet. I'll probably lay the land off to this afternoon later on. I think I'm going to use my 630 to do that, but at any rate, this is a new tractor for me, an Oliver 1800B, and had some issues with it, but I think it's a pretty good tractor. We'll see. It's its rookie year plowing for me, so that always means maybe a little problems here and there. And it's should pull this 416 Oliver 565 plow pretty easily. Should. We'll see. I don't know if I've quite got enough weight on the front of it, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, like I said, it's a rookie, so we just have to get this worked out. Since I got this tractor, I've done a few things to it. I've rebuilt the seat, put a new steering wheel on it, got some sway blocks from a fellow out in Iowa, and fixed the hydraulics on it. I think they're working pretty well. And so we'll see. I got a couple Oliver cylinders, but none of them have good hoses on them, so I'll have to fix that up. I used just an old cross cylinder on it. Seems to be working fine right now. Anyway, anxious to use this one. The next tractor I have out is an Oliver 70. I've not ever plowed with this down here, but I have plowed with it up above. And it's a good tractor. Finally got the steering where it's not so tight. It had a messed up steering gearbox. That's got fixed, and so I think it'll run pretty well. It's always been a good running tractor anyway. Seems like it has plenty of power. Should pull this bottom Oliver rooster comb plow. If you're familiar with the rooster comb, it's this lift mechanism over here on this side. It drops down into these rollers at the bottom, as you see, and then it'll raise the plow up, and then to trip it, you just pull that. Basically, you pull this right here. You control your leveling with this and the depth with that rod. That rod is problematic, and it's poked a hole in my fender over here once. I got it a little too tight. Pulled this thing down the road this morning, put it in road gear, and all of a sudden I thought it was going to fly off the back end of the tractor, but had to slow down with it. The hitch is what they call a dial-matic hitch, and it needs to be moved way over here to the right side for this plow to line up. You could just let the drawbar swing, but the plow goes everywhere when you do that once you pull it out of the ground. Anyway, I'll get this lined up later, but hopefully it works pretty well. It turns the ground over nice. The next, planting corn today here. Beautiful day with my Oliver Super 77 and my John Deere 494A corn planter. I plant in 38-inch rows, wide rows, and harvest it with a new idea picker sheller. And that always works well for me. The Oliver's running really well today. It's a good tractor to use for this because it's got a good speed ratio that you need, and it's got hydraulics, of course. Plus, you can get on and off of it pretty easy if you have to check the seed or switch the markers around. I'll talk about the 494 planter here a little bit. As I said, I do 38-inch rows. This planter was very popular for John Deere. They made it from the late 50s all the way through the 60s, or at least halfway through the 60s. And they pretty much improved on it as they went along. It is a plate planter, so I have a variety of plates for the thing. And you kind of need them now because the seed that you buy, they don't even tell you what kind of plate to use anymore. So you have to kind of match the seed with the plate. That works out fine. The boxes are these extended boxes, and but they don't have the long markers in them except for 2 of them, and they don't really tell you when it's down below the level there. But you can see that's quite a difference in terms of the seed capacity that you could hold versus the lower markers. I won't use too much seed here. I try to plant at about 25,000, 27,000 seeds to the acre. That's about as good as I can do spacing wise. And ground worked up really nice. Should be good here today. Seeds should do well if the turkeys don't get their share of it. I'll have a nice crop, I believe. At least I'll get it off to a good start. The marker arm mechanism for this has been problematic for me, except it's kind of been working well today so far anyway. And it's this little back and forth device that you raise it up on one side. This little marker right here is supposed to flip over. That locks the chain in on the one side that you just lifted up and lets the other side go down when you turn around. It doesn't always work well on hilly ground, I've found, but it's Cornstalks working here today, and this is about as hilly as I have. I don't use the insecticide or herbicide boxes, and I don't really use the fertilizer boxes. I broadcast, just a lot easier. These boxes are very good, and I could use them if I needed to. I have a lot of stuff. I'll show you inside the so just tons of stuff that I have for this, and I keep it here all in the planter. I got one of these, a guy dropped it off. I didn't even know who brought it over, another 494, and I taken a lot of parts off of that too and stored them away. Have used a couple of them as these things break down. Anyway, I'm gonna get on the tractor now. I'll take you down the row a bit here. Beautiful day to be planting corn, and we'll go from there. I sure appreciate you watching my videos, and God bless you. Been running in third year. Plowing today with my Oliver Super 77 and this Oliver 3B plow that I rescued a while back. Oh, maybe, what is it? It's been 3 or 4 years ago from Iowa. I really didn't intend to buy it, but bought it on auction time and went out to get another thing that I bought, and this was part of the deal, and so I took it. And I made something out of it. I actually tried to trade it on the way home for a case plow, but the guy wouldn't deal with me. So I fixed it up, put some new wheels on it. As you can see, the moldboards are very good. They've scoured up well over the last couple of years, and had to put a new tail wheel on it as well as the front tires. As I said, I painted those rims. I think everything else, the coulters were good. I have a little old style John Deere cylinder that I've put on it. And it has what I think Oliver called some sort of a dial-o-matic hitch, where you can raise and lower the hitch and move it across the bar there in the front to line up with the your tractor in the furrow. And of course it has a breakaway hitch here. This little contraption here I built myself to keep the hydraulic hoses off. But no, it's a very nice plow. It always does a good job. I've been using my John Deere 730, which I put another video on that. You'll see that at some point. But it's with this waterway here, it tends to, the back furrow, it's a 4-bottom mounted plow, tends to catch and turn the sod over. So I like to use this plow here for that purpose. Again, using my Oliver Super 77. This was one of the last ones made, so I think they put everything on it they could possibly put on it, including spin out hubs, which you don't often see on an Oliver. These weights, it's got not a factory power steering, but I guess it would be Charlin or Balin power steering unit, separate reservoir and all. Very good hydraulics, although they're not the hydromatic hydraulics. I put this weight on it on the front just to give it a little character. It really doesn't need it, but they're very hard to find. If you can find one, they're worth a bit of money. Anyway, I'll get on the plow here, or get on the tractor here now, and we'll go down the road a little bit, and hopefully I can get a good video for you of this thing plowing. I have to kind of do it while I'm driving and plowing at the same time, so bear with me. I appreciate you watching these videos, and God bless you. Starting the 2022 farm work today. I'm down in the lower field disking up some corn stalks, getting this ground ready to go for our plow day, which might be about 2 or 3 weeks away. Actually, the ground is fairly dry. I think it might have plowed today, but we'll wait for a little bit better day than this. It's kind of chilly here today in the high 40s. I'm using today my Oliver Super 77, and I've featured this tractor in many of my videos. Mostly I use it to plant with and to drill wheat and soybeans with, other odds and ends, but this tractor really has a lot of power. I plow with it too, and it's having no trouble pulling this 12-foot John Deere AW disc. Excuse me. The tractor has power steering. It was one of the last Super 77s made. Has power steering. It has spin out hubs, which you rarely see. It's got the Oliver weights on the back. I put this front weight on the Oliver. That's a Super 77 base weight. You can stack on top of that if you want to. Don't really need to in my situation. It has very good hydraulics, and it's just a good tractor. Of course, it was famous for having live power takeoff, which is handy. It's not exactly geared great for combining and doing things like that, so I don't use it for that, but it's good for other applications. This disc is one of the first discs that I bought. It's a John Deere AW disc. It's 12 foot. It's a little big for most of my tractors except for this tractor and the John Deere 730 that I have. It pulls it fine. And usually I would use that today, but I had this one hooked up to it, getting it out of the barn because it's a smaller tractor, and I thought, I used this last year, it should do fine, and so far it's doing well. So I'm gonna get on the tractor now, take you down the road a little bit, let you watch the disc work, and hope you have a great day, and God bless you. Running in 4th gear. Okay, out here today doing some clipping of my wheat stubble and kind of getting the weeds mowed down with my Oliver Super 77 1957 model. I'll talk about that in a second. And my Co-op, you can read it here, Co-op E15B. And this a mowing machine was given to me probably 30 years ago by a good friend of mine, Gene Hunterlaw, who's passed away now. And it was made in Canada, as you can see here. And Co-op, Cockshoot, and Oliver all kind of worked together to make both implements and tractors, and they shared a lot of parts and designs and everything. So this mower is very similar to an Oliver mower. That's why it can be used easily with this tractor. And you can see here it has sort of a unique hitch. You see how this hitch works? It works off the drawbar, attaches to a couple of different points, and has pivot wheels on the back, so it's a real compact unit, easy to turn, easy to get in and out of places. But Gene Hunterlaw, the guy that owned this, he was always tinkered with his equipment. He could buy something new and a week later he'd be modifying it. So he modified this in several ways. One, he added a hydraulic cylinder to it, as you can see here, the one I'm using. And the way he did that was he cut off the handle, which lifted it. It actually worked off a spring, and then just made an attachment here to put on the cylinder. So works great, works fine. I think some of these, I've seen them in the past, they've had a rope here where it actually raises or lowers the thing. You see he used some chain to do that a little stronger. And so it can be adjusted in different places. I have it set up here at the bottom so that the shoe runs a little higher on both ends. The only thing that was wrong with it when I got it from him was that the swath board was broken. But he did have this piece right here, the end of it with the attaching plate. So I made the rest of it, and I think it looks pretty good. Kind of matches up. And you can see how it works here. So that's pretty much it for this mower. It's a good piece. Every once in a while you might see one. I should have bought one a couple of years ago just for the parts that came up at auction, but I didn't do it. Bid on it, but I didn't bid enough. Anyway, it's a nice little piece. Now this tractor, I've been working on a little bit here. I don't know if you've seen this in the pictures, but I've been working on rubbing out the paint on the thing. It has an original paint job, it's never been touched, and it was really dingy and kind of rusty looking. I got some rubbing compound and just kept working with it, and it looks pretty good in different spots. Anyway, I got a little bit more work to do there, but it's cleaned up enough to look a little bit better than it has been. This tractor is a 1957 model, and it's got a lot of interesting features on it for an Oliver Super 77 of that era. First of all, it does have power steering. I think that was added on later. Looks like it was, because they put this flap up here that you can see to get into the power steering reservoir. Most of these, if they came from the factory, they had a power steering unit that ran off the generator right in here. So anyway, but it does have power steering. It's got these really nice toolboxes and attachments. You can see them more here from the rear. And they're very handy as both steps and as toolboxes. This one is where I keep the most in there because you can get into it easily. It has dual remotes. You can actually run two different cylinders off this, two-way cylinders. It's got live power takeoff. You'll see that in a second. I did rebuild the seat. The seat was all lopsided, and people that had it before me really abused this tractor. And I had actually owned this tractor for 17 years. I bought it originally in 1985, kept it until about 2002, sold it to a friend of mine who I kept it for a couple of years, and then he sold it to a farming family down the road who, as I said, really used it and abused it. And when I gave up some of my ground, they wanted to rent that ground, and I said, the only way you're going to get it is you have to sell that old Oliver Super 77 back to me, which they did. And I had to redo the engine, rebuild this seat, a lot of things on it. It's got other features too. It has a tack. I put that on there originally back in 1985. The tack probably should be mounted down here. That's where they normally put it, but it was too hard to read. And so I moved it up there, took the light, dash light out and put it in that particular spot. All the lights work, has a really nice little tail light. Doesn't give you much warning, but at least it works. It has spin out hubs, which is very unique for an Oliver. I haven't seen too many of them with this, and of course has the wheel weights too, which are worth something. So 10's good, runs great, power steering, has this little hitch in the front. Used to push a lot of wagons around with this. So yeah, it's a good little tractor. So you'll get a good view of it here. Got the umbrella on it today because it's going to be a little hot out here, I think. And so I'm going to hop on there and get started. Should be ready to go. Once I get on here, I'll quit talking, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. Here to plant wheat today with the old 1937 Oliver Superior drill. I've got it matched up rather with my granddaughter's Oliver 70. And first time I've used this tractor in the field. I'm just going to do a little bit with it, not push it too hard. I think it needs a little valve work, but it's a really beautiful tractor, and she loves it. Take it to shows and try to get it so that we can actually do some field work with it. So this is pretty light duty. Should be able to do it just fine for a few rounds. And if it does better, we'll see how that goes. This drill was given to me by a friend of mine, Gene Honelaw from Mason, Ohio. He gave it to me about 30 years ago. Gene's been dead for a number of years, but he farmed with it for eons. 1937, the tractor is a 1941, so this stuff, what is that, 82 years for the drill and 78 years for the tractor, and they're still going strong. So we'll see how it goes here today, but looks pretty good, doesn't it?